The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. My name is Jacqueline. I'm from the support team here at Podio, and today I'll be talking about using Podio as your company's CRM and sales tool. So just to give a bit of background on the purpose of today's session, this is part of a series of webinars we're doing to show our users some of the most common use cases for Podio. A few weeks ago, we held an intranet webinar, and in a couple weeks, we'll have a third webinar for project management. So our goal here is to show you some other uses and hopefully give you some ideas for how you and your team can get more work done with Podio. So this webinar is scheduled for the full hour until 11 a.m., but it's more likely going to be quite a bit shorter than that. I'm expecting it'll be about a half hour at the latest. I'll spend the first 10 to 15 minutes talking about using Podio for CRM and sales, and then I'll open up for questions at the end. If you have a question and you prefer to ask via the questions pane in GoToWebinar, feel free to do that. My colleague Vartan is also here and he'll be going through those questions to get those answered. But if you want to ask live, I'll be opening up for questions at the very end, so feel free to save it as well. Okay, and then without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will dive in. Okay, so you all should be able to see my screen now. This is a test account that I've logged into where I've created my sample CRM and sales workspace. So this is just a normal Podio workspace, and then I've added these series of apps to get my sales and CRM work done. So first, we are on the workspace activity stream, and you can see I've added a few tiles here. These are just things that I would like to see as a quick snapshot. Very easy to add. You can click this add tile button here on the right, and you can add any reports. You can add a list of tasks, the calendar, anything you want to customize what you see and what your colleagues see when they first come to this workspace. And these tiles are the same for all workspace members, so it's not customized to your account. It's the workspace homepage for everyone who has access to this space. Okay, so the first app here is called Leads. Pretty straightforward. This is where we're going to keep all of our leads. So as you can see here, it's a lot like a contact app where each item in the app is going to be a company and then a contact at that company. So to show you an example, here's a lead from the company called GoToMeeting. My contact is Stephen Gray, and here's all the contact information I have for Stephen. And then I've added a few other fields just to give me some more information on the type of lead. I've added a category field for the industry, company size, because maybe my company has different sales reps for different sizes of accounts, and just some additional information here on whether I've contacted them yet, if I've contacted them by phone, status of their lead, all this various information. And note that this is all completely customizable. So maybe this is what I want for my sales process, but maybe you don't really need these fields. It's very easy to just click this modify template button in the upper left. And here I can change anything I want. So let's say I'm not really sending emails, I only contact my leads by phone. Well, I can just get rid of that field here and I don't need that. And then I can save it. Same goes for adding new fields. If you want a different kind of contact field, maybe an address, you can add text fields for that as well. And then one thing I wanted to point out before we go into clients, we've added a workflow in our Leads app. So let's say I have spoken with Stephen Gray and I've closed this deal. He's not a lead anymore. He's now a client. So what I've done is I've created a workflow so that every time I click it as the sale closed, it's going to automatically create an item in my client's app that is linked to this lead. So as you can see, that workflow just fired off, and now there's a client called Stephen Gray, and here's his contact information all here in my client's app. So now he's a client. So that's just one way of automatically converting your leads to clients, and that way you don't have to manually recreate it in the separate app. And just to show you what that workflow looks like when I set it up, I'm going to click this wrench icon in the upper left and go to Manage Workflows. And if you're starting fresh, you'll click this create workflow button. But since I've already created it, I'll click it right here. And this is where it's a if then type format. So I'm saying when, and this is the trigger. So every time the lead is updated, I've made it so that every time the lead status is changed. And then to drill down, it says, and if the future lead status is set to sale closed. And just as a note, this and if section is part of the advanced workflows, which is available on the plus and premium tiers. So if you're on the basic or free version, you can set it whenever a lead is updated or created, but you can't drill down into this specific categories. And then every time it's set to sale closed, we're going to create an item in a related app. So what we've done is we've dragged this down to here, and we're saying we're going to create another item into our client's app, and then we want to fill it in with this information. So we've taken the name, the email, phone, and then if you want, you can add any other information. Maybe I want to add the organization as well. You're going to find that in the drop down, and it looks like I can't find it. Oh, he's company name. Here we go. And then you can click save. And just to show you how that information will fire off, let's go to, so we have our Podio lead, and let's make sure we have this all filled out. Yes, we have company name and all of that. So I will move it to sale closed. The workflow triggers, and this is the new client in the client's app. And as you can see, all the information is pulled over. And actually, I've made a mistake here. This needs to go here. Okay. So the organization field didn't pull over properly, but I'm not really sure what happened there. But regardless, what I'm going to do next is show you the client's app. And here we have the two contacts that were created automatically, as well as just this other one that we've created. So in your client's app, this is where you can track all of the information about what type of account they have. Maybe you want to track your communication between the clients. I know on our team, we actually use this comment section to mark whenever we've had like an email or any kind of interaction. This is where we track it. So one thing you might do is the email to item tool. So let's say you're sending an email to someone and you want to CC this app item because you want a copy of your email to go into Podio. You can click this actions button here and click email to item. And each item has a unique email address. So you would just CC this address, and then your email gets copied into a comment here. Another thing, if you have existing clients, so let's say you're coming from a different CRM tool, or your company just already has an existing list of contacts or clients, you can use our Excel import tool to bring these into your app. So I've set up an example Excel spreadsheet with just 2 examples here. You can import this into your app so that you don't have to add them all one by one. So let me just show you how that looks. You click this wrench icon again in the upper left and click Excel import. I'm going to choose my file. And this is my Excel spreadsheet. So I will open it up. Okay, and you'll see from here it's a very easy drag and drop interface. So these green sections here, these are all of the columns that I had in my Excel spreadsheet. So you can see these are the 5 columns. I now see them here, and I drag them and drop them to show which field in my app they should go to. So I actually have just one name field, so what I should probably do is merge the first and last names together. But I'll just do the first names for now. So here, drag the email, phone, and organization. Click next. Okay, and now here we have just an example item. So before it completes the import, it's just making sure that you have everything the way you want it to go. Everything looks good. This key icon, you won't need it if you're importing all of your existing clients, but what this does is it checks for duplicates. So let's say I'm importing a list and I already have a bunch of items in my clients app and I want to make sure I don't create two jsmith@example.com clients. You'd want to use it for a field that has unique values. So maybe I have a lot of people named John Smith, but I know John Smith is the only person with this email address. So I'll use that as the duplicate checker. And then I just go ahead and click import when I'm done. And it usually just takes a couple of seconds. It can take up to a couple minutes if you have a very large spreadsheet. And then you get a notification once it's done. So it says it's done. I can refresh my app. And here they are. So here's John and Jane. And here's all the information that I just imported. Okay, so that is the Clients app. Moving on, we have the Deals app. So this is where your sales team will track all of the number-related aspects of the sales process. So what you'll do, you can see here that each deal is tied to a lead or client, and this is tied via a relationship field pointing to my Leads app. So just to show you how that works, I'm going to go into the template for the Deals app. And you can see this lead client field is a relationship field, and it's tied to both leads and clients. So if I want to tie it to a lead or a client, maybe you have a deal related to an existing client if you're increasing their account value or something like that. So you can tie either of those in. So when I'm here, I can tie it to any of my leads or clients. Here's you can track the different stages in the deal, and again, keep in mind you can modify this template to rename these or add new categories, match it to your exact sales process. You can enter in the deal value, closing date, and then once it's done, you can set it as the expected closing date and the expected, or as the actual close date and the actual deal value. And then for meetings, again, pretty straightforward. It's actually something I'd like to go back to the Clients app to show you. If you check into any client, what I've done is I've added a relationship field pointing to my Meetings app. So what I can do is when I want to schedule a new meeting with Martin, I click on this and I just click Create New Item. So this is how I can really easily create a new meeting with any of my clients. You can add your purpose up here, again, fully customizable. You can enter in the client, again, it's another relationship field, just pointing to the client or lead. And then another interesting thing that we've done here is we've made it so that any attendees that you add here are going to be automatically, they're going to have the item automatically shared with them. So as an example, I'm going to add myself. And click Save. Have to add to the time. There we go. Okay, so this took me back to the client, but now I can see the meeting that I just created. And as you can see, this item that was created was shared with me. So when I go to my Podio account, so again, this is a test account that I'm just logged into, but when I go to my actual Podio account, I'll see that I have access to this meeting item. And that's a really handy way to just share things with people where you don't want to give them access to your entire CRM setup, but you do want to invite them to this meeting so you can share the agenda. You can, of course, collaborate on the agenda. If your client has some things that they would like to discuss, they can enter it there. Anything like that. So that's a good way to share things with people without adding them to the whole workspace. Very, very handy tool, especially in CRM, because obviously you don't want everyone to have access to all of your leads, clients, Moving on, next we have the Documents app. This is where you could just keep any of your documents that you'll be sharing with clients. Maybe you have like security documentation or anything like that. I usually recommend using Dropbox, Box, or ShareFile, something like that, to manage your files. and then you could just add them here using the link to make them easily accessible. So you'll add a file here. And you just click choose a file and pick here. So if you've linked any of your file services, you'll see them here. Or if you haven't yet, you can click this add file service and add a new one. And you can just add files from here. And that just makes it easily accessible for your team. If they're on the phone with a client, they just need to send something really quickly. This gives them a good place where they can easily search and find files. Moving on, we have customer feedback. So this is something you can either add manually if you're speaking live with a client and they have some really nice feedback or some constructive criticism. You can add this on the fly, and it's something that you can share with your product managers or your developers just to help improve your product or whatever you're selling. Another thing you could do is use the web form for this if you want your clients to be able to send this themselves so that you can get direct feedback from them into this app. To use a web form, you'll click the wrench in the upper left and go to web form. And from here, you can select which fields you want to appear on that form. And here's the shareable link. So this web form is a public-facing page that anybody can access. You don't need a Podio account. You can send this to anybody, and they can use this to add items to your app. So let's say this is a customer. They want to say, great job. They can select who they are. And submit it. And then you can say, now it's straight into my app. So that's a great way to get direct feedback from people. Again, you can either add it manually or via that web form. It's totally up to whatever you think is best. You can even do a combination of the two. Support. This is just an extra app we've added. This is another app where the web form would be really handy. If people just have questions, comments, technical issues, you can give them the web form for this app and have them submit support inquiries. And then you could follow up with them via email to help them work out their question or problem. Support tips. This is actually one that we have here on the Podio team as well. This is something that we just have as an internal documentation app to help people with small support tips that maybe you didn't realize. So how to Excel import or specific things about using web form settings, things like that. Or things just to make everyone's lives easier when they're supporting your clients. Okay, so I think that covers the CRM workspace. I hope that was helpful. Now I'll open up to questions. So if you have a question, look at the GoToWebinar control panel. There's a little hand raise icon. You can use that to raise your hand to ask a question. Okay, I see Patrick has a question. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I'm using a CRM right now, and I tried importing it. I've moved it. I can export it to a CSV file. Does it have to be in Excel, or can it be in a CSV file?
So we recommend Excel. Sometimes CSV will work, but it's not necessarily reliable. So my suggestion is usually give it a try. But if it doesn't work, you have to just open it in Excel and then save it in an actual Excel format.
Okay. So I've got a lot of questions because I tried doing this on my own, and it's your overview is good, but when you start to drill down into it, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that come up.
Yeah.
And so my question, I guess, is what can we do about getting somebody from Podio to help us move an existing CRM into Podio?
That's a great question. If you're on our Plus or Premium tiers, we do offer personalized setup assistance. It's 1 hour on Plus and then up to 3 hours on Premium. But for anything else, you can reach out to us on our support team, and that's via a support ticket. So it might take a little bit longer, but we're usually pretty good about getting back to you within about 2 or 3 hours. So you can reach out to us there, and we'll be happy to help you out with that. Just to show, if you're not familiar with our help center, it's just help.podio.com. And then here in the upper right, you'll see this contact support link. So you can write to us there, and we're more than happy to help you get everything situated.
Okay. Is it possible to buy consulting services so that I can work with somebody, and as opposed to emailing and then you emailing me back and the email doesn't answer the question, and then I got to generate another email and then that doesn't answer the question, or I didn't ask the question correctly and I can't move forward until I get that question answered? And because I've been in that situation, and it makes for a long process to try to do the conversion.
Yeah.
I need to work with someone interactively.
Yeah, totally understand. So if you're on a paid contract, you do have the option to purchase additional training. If you're on a free contract, that's not an option, but one thing you could do is hire someone from our partner program. And let me just see, this is the link. Can I paste it in chat? Okay, I've just put it in the GoToWebinar chat pane. So that's the link to get linked up with a partner who can help you with implementation. We have technical partners who can help you with integrations, or if you just need help getting everything set up, we have partners for that as well.
So, and these partners are not employees?
No, they're not Podio employees. They're just our partners. So they've been vetted. They've gone through our partner training, but they're not official Podio employees. No.
And so what I do is contract with them directly. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. So how do I know if I'm getting somebody that's really going to understand everything I'm going to do and need to do, and really be able to help me in a timely fashion?
So when you fill out that form, you tell us a little bit about what you're looking for, and then my colleague Silas, he heads our partner program, and he's very familiar with all of our partners and what they're good at. So he does a really good job of looking at what you need and matching you with the best partner to fit that need.
And how do I figure out cost per budget?
That's something that you have to work out after you fill out the form. I'm not familiar with how that works out.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. Okay, looks like Justin has a question. Hi, Justin.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Just a quick question following up on what the other gentleman just asked.
Sure.
Is there a place on the website where we can go to find partners in case we don't have that form handy, like if I wanted to send it to other people?
Yes.
Is there like on the website?
Yeah, we do have a page for our partners. Let me just do a quick Google search. And I know that some of our preferred partners are listed there. So if you want to just reach out to someone directly, that's absolutely an option as well. Let's see.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is not quite my area of expertise, but I know, yeah, here we go. So if you just Google Podio partners, you can find your way there. And then here's a list, yeah, all partners, and here they are. So you can go through them here. If you'd rather, do the search yourself and figure out who would be the best for you, that's absolutely an option for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Okay. All right, anybody else? Okay, it doesn't look like it. So I will go ahead and end the webinar. Thank you guys so much for attending. And if you have any questions here and for whatever reason you weren't able to get the answer, feel free to reach out to us on support, and we're more than happy to help you out. Thanks for attending, everyone. Enjoy your day.